Introduction to PL/SQL. In our course, we have discussed SQL until now. Now we are going to discuss PL/SQL. Let's start our journey in PL/SQL with its definition. PL/SQL stands for Procedural Language Structured Query Language. It is a database-oriented programming language that extends Oracle SQL with procedural capabilities. PL/SQL is one of three languages embedded in the Oracle database, the other two being SQL and Java. This definition gives you an idea about PL/SQL. Now let's see the functionality of PL/SQL. Basically, SQL statements are declarative statements because in SQL the statements are defined in static terms. PL/SQL is a procedural language where a program specifies a series of operations to be performed to achieve the result. In PL/SQL, we can use conditional and selective statements. PL/SQL supports stored procedures. Stored procedures are groups of statements compiled and stored in the database. These procedures are created to do particular operations. We will see procedures in detail in upcoming lessons. Generally, PL/SQL programs are stored as functions, procedures, and packages. There is limited support for object-oriented programming in PL/SQL programming. PL/SQL is based on the Ada programming language and shares many elements of its syntax with Pascal. PL/SQL supports the DML statements, and it supports constants and variables. In PL/SQL, we can trap runtime errors. PL/SQL contains several predefined packages. We can use these predefined packages in our program. In this section, we have discussed PL/SQL and its functionality. Here we will take a look at the operations carried out in the execution of a PL/SQL program. Take a look at this picture. Here, the Oracle server has a separate engine to execute the PL/SQL program, and a separate executor to execute the SQL statements. As we discussed earlier, we can write the SQL statements in the PL/SQL block. Generally, whenever a PL/SQL program gets executed, the Oracle server separates the SQL codes and the PL/SQL codes. It gives the SQL statements to the SQL statement executor and gives the PL/SQL codes to the procedural statement executor. We can also start the PL/SQL engine in the Oracle server or in application development tools, such as Oracle Forms, Oracle Reports, etc. Here we have discussed the PL/SQL program execution. In the next section, we are going to see the PL/SQL program structure. Now let's look at the structure of the PL/SQL program. PL/SQL is a block-structured language. The basic units that make up a PL/SQL program are logical blocks, which can contain any number of nested subblocks. A block is a group of related declarations and statements. The declarations are local to the block. Here we see the structure of a PL/SQL program. In this PL/SQL block, the first section is the declaration section. This section starts with the keyword declare. It is optional. In this section, we can define local variables and cursors. The next section is an executable section. Here we can write the executable statements for the PL/SQL program. We can write conditional statements, looping statements, and SQL statements in this section. Then the exception handling section can be written to handle exceptions. It is also optional. This section starts with the keyword exception. We can write the exception handling statements in this section. Finally, the PL SQL block is terminated by the keyword END. Every PL SQL block must be finished with this keyword. In this lesson, we have learned the basics of PL SQL. In upcoming lessons, we will see more about this language.